absolutely brilliant Sophie Buddle.
Ottawa comedian Sophie Buddle is considered to be a rising star on the comedy scene. She even made Canadian history as the first female to win the Juno Award for a comedy recording. Buddle recently created a special for the streaming platform Crave, a property of Bell Media. On it, Buddle made a joke about abortion and the Catholic Church that referenced residential schools. Now many are calling out that joke as insensitive and offensive.
When I first saw the video as a indigenous comedian, my first response was, oh my gosh, like, why?
Shay Vassar was one of many taking to social media expressing outrage. One user saying they are sick of the casual violence, another adding Sophie Buddle's joke was harmful and despicable.
I get that the comedian believed that she was bringing awareness and trying to show a certain hypocrisy in that religious attitude. But this idea of residential schools is just now reaching a mainstream audience, not only because of the trauma and the fact that there are survivors of these residential schools that are still alive and dealing with the trauma and the effects of these institutions.
City News reached out to Bell Media in a statement on behalf of Crave. A spokesperson says, confirming that as a result of recent feedback about the Crave original stand-up special, Sophie Buddle's Smile Baby, an additional review has concluded in the temporary removal of the special from the service, while an edited version that does not include the segment is prepared. Buddle has since made her social media accounts private after the online backlash began. However, these alleged screenshots from her Twitter account before it was locked show a thread where Buddle apologized for any harm that the clip may have caused, but claims it was edited out of context and telling people that if they watched the entire special, they'd see that, quote, all I'm trying to do is emphasize the disgusting actions by the Catholic Church against indigenous people. Some people online have noted that after calling out Buddle for the joke, they have been blocked by the comedian. Some are calling it hypocritical, especially after this interview Buddle did back in May, discussing if comedy was under attack after the infamous Oscar incident involving Will Smith and Chris Rock and the onstage attack of Dave Chappelle.
So I don't ever condone physical violence, but I also think that comics shouldn't think they could just say anything without people reacting. Like, if you say something rude or controversial to your family or your girlfriend or whatever, they're going to react to it.
Oh, I know it.
I know, and people have a right to react. Like, comics are always talking about, like, the right to free speech or whatever, but it's like, people listening to you also have a right to react emotionally.
Meantime, Vassar says that while this incident was traumatic for some, it could serve as a teaching moment going forward.
Not everything is about being canceled. It's also about taking that constructive criticism to become a better human being, a better artist. And that's, I think, ultimately what the motivation has been from the Indigenous community that is reaching out to this comic.
City News reached out to Buddle and her management team but did not receive a response in time for broadcast. In Toronto, I'm Brandon Rowe for City News.